I think the biggest thing about collecting props is if you are a true movie lover, um, whenever we were talking about the book being even surreal, you know, when you watch a movie and then you can hold that item in your hands. And you know, the biggest thing is especially if it's like a movie that's very well known, is having a prop from that movie that is just something that everybody looks at, instantly knows, um, and feels that exact same feeling that you did when you first got it. You know, some stuff I collect, and I even know that when I buy it, there's not really such a emotional connection to that film. So whenever the chance does arise to either sell it to another collector that would appreciate it more than me, or auction it, then we have some items that are just, as far as selling wise, it's just not something that I would really want to get rid of. And that would be stuff like the Neverending Story book and items like that that you just don't, it's not something that you would ever see, you know. I do have stuff that I've auctioned. I have stuff that I've loaned to museums. Some museums do have some of the pieces, especially bigger ones that are harder to keep into a house. And it may even be to the point to where some other collector says, I've got this that I would trade you, and he sends me a list of items, and there's something on there that just instantly snaps. And it's just like going back and trading baseball cards and garbage pail kids when you're little. So it's all the fun in the game. There's a couple props on here that are really, really cool. One of my favorites would be Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. That's Bellini's book whenever he's writing about Dustin Hoffman's life as Mr. Megorium. The brown book is from the Brothers Grimm with Heath Ledger, so that's obviously a favorite. This one's a cool piece too. This is more of going back into your never-ending story days. This is what this is from The Return of Oz. The piece, the furniture that they turn Gump into. All whenever she goes and Dorothy goes into the room and she's trying to figure out where her friends and stuff are, they find out that they're all been turned. The Gnome King has turned them all into these different ornaments. Casper the Lazarus jar. This is a favorite of mine from Ghost. So that's the jar that you see at the very beginning of the movie, and then there's the penny inside, and that's the penny that she, whenever she's trying to see if the ghost is real, so she holds the penny up and against the door. I get a lot of stuff from crew members and sources from the studios, but sometimes an auction is the only place that you'll find it because it's just simply not, you know, it may be that the crew member didn't know any other outlet to get rid of it, and that's maybe what they chose. Yeah, and at the very end, she gets frustrated and rolls it down the stairs and it shatters.
You would love.
I want a flying monkey costume from The Wizard of Oz. That would be my holy grail. That's the item that I don't have yet. A few people know that I've been looking at, and I would just love, you know, we have a, speaking of flying monkeys, we have a little pet monkey. His name is Obi. So Obi here, last Halloween, that's what Obi dressed up as in Halloween was. He was a flying monkey. Won't you? Come here, Bubba. Come here. Let's go say hey. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. And you say hey. Hmm? These things on. This is a cool one from the 80s that you would know. You know, batteries not included. Yeah. So this is the Michael Jackson raisin that was on the commercials. These are all old 80s, early 80s raisin puppets.
I love that.
That's from Moonwalker. So whenever you see him in the music video, he was this big. He was not big at all. You have to excuse the room because we're changing some stuff in here. But yeah, this is we're going to take all the stop motion stuff and put in here because I have so much of it now, and then we're going to take all this stuff and move it in another room. But that's an original bottling from the Dark Crystal, the original one. It's still got all the Jim Henson labels and everything on them. And then this is the original shard from the movie.
You do not have the original shard.
This is really funny. I bought this not long ago from a friend of mine who actually it was from the movie, but they went and bought these things from like the dollar store when they were making the movie, and they were trying to figure out like what should the Skeksis eat. And they ended up using these things and just like gluing these things. This still works. And you see them in the movie, they're like flapping all around the table and everything. So this is their food. This is what they were eating. But it was literally like a thing that I guess the PA probably went down the street and got it from the dollar store. And then they just kind of, you know, threw it together really quick for the scene. Yeah, this is the Netflix shard. This is from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is an old movie. That one's, the monkey's cool. He's got like a thing. They drilled a hole in the bottom of him so they could put wires in it instead of batteries, so they could just cut it on and off when they needed it. And then these eyes are funny. These are Christopher Lloyd's eyes from Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he turns into when he's going from a human and he's turning into a toon and his eyes roll out. Those are his eyes. These are from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure when he's out and he's doing his thumbing out trying to hitchhike, and in his X-ray glasses. The stuff on the end is a pretty well-known movie, Home Alone. That's a brick he throws off the top of the house, and then his crowbar and a couple newspapers. This is Jack Skellington's complete bedroom set from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is insane. Along with one of the original Mitchell cameras, the military type camera that they used to film it, and a slate. But when I had this and when I got it, it was in so many different pieces. And we didn't have anywhere to put it when we were redoing the house. So my dad actually fixed the attic space in here. And me and him built the shelf for it. And we made this the area for it to be in. So it was actually, all this was actually done for this. They marketed it wrong, really. And not a lot of people saw it. So Disney was pretty much told just to destroy everything. So as they were throwing stuff into the dumpster, people were going out and getting it out of the dumpster. Which is how like pretty much everything from Nightmare Before Christmas survived. Hang on it. There we go. Okay. And you when you film, we'll go in here when you film, and then that way it's. This is all Aardman stuff. This from Shaun the Sheep. This is from Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were Rabbit. Frank and Weenie, and there was a UK Terry Pratchett, I believe it is. But they did a movie called Truckers, and it was all these little gnomes that were going around and living. Adam's Family, Pugsley and Wednesday, and Gumby. It's all just different stuff I've collected over the years from different people. Mars Attacks. This one's a cool one. Morph from Aardman. This one's a cool piece. That's Beetlejuice's miniature that was on top of the girls house, the Inferno room. There's like a split second. I say a split second. It's probably 3 or 4 seconds. And you actually, whenever she's looking down trying to figure out where the music's coming from, it's actually this puppet, this little miniature puppet, and he's sitting in a little chair. You can see him in the distance. And then the computer the camera cuts away, cuts back, and then it's Michael Keaton sitting there. This is whenever you can put the actual words of a man cave into perspective. All this stuff, a lot of it is actually based around different horror movies. And when I first started, my parents did haunted houses when I was younger. So I've always loved makeup and monsters and masks. And it's not so much the gore factor, I think, for me, as I always knew it was fake. It took me probably 12 to 15 years to put these guys together, just for the simple fact is that you've got your prop department and your wardrobe department, and it's not the same, it's like two different worlds. So these the main characters took me a long time to put together.
It's quite overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the Avengers of horror.
All screen used, yep. All screen used original, yeah. That's what's taken so long to put them all together. We've got, leather faces, masks, and that Michael Myers mask is pretty important. It's a different companies made different masks, and I guess it was for their own look for the movie. So what they ended up doing is that when you watch the movies, the mask changes like 3 times, and the one that I have is the one that you see towards the end, which is what the actual production studio wanted whenever they were filming that movie. They wanted it to look more like that Michael Myers than the one that you see at the beginning. That's Billy from Saw, and then that's Barbara's mask from Beetlejuice. That's a screen match Beetlejuice shirt. And then the Xerox copy from when Gizmo is stuck on the printer. And then the Gremlin is whenever they take a picture. They take a picture in Gremlins 2 and all of his skin falls off. That's a pretty cool piece. These frogs here are from the Budweiser commercials. Budweiser and then Frank and Louie. They're pretty neat. And then all this stuff is Saw. The leg from Saw 1, or the saw from hacksaw from Saw 1 whenever he uses it on his leg. And then Amanda's needle pit arm. This is made out of silicone, but you can put your arm over it and twist the pole and it makes it look real. So this is a movie that is a favorite of mine, The 13 Ghosts. This was actually a remake. This one came out in 01, but this is a remake from an old black and white one. And I wouldn't say it looks like it when you look at the characters and stuff. It looks like a real gory horror film, but it's more of like a thriller. It's one of the main books. And then this one here is a stunt version. So it's the inside of it is like foam. And I've even gone as far as like just these two heads behind you that are on these busts. These are ones that I wore in movies that I acted in. So like,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I try to keep some of the stuff. That's from Bloodthirst, the main vampire, and then the creature from Bridge of the Doomed. Now we're going to go back to those top 5 movies that you asked about. Okay. So as far as the top 5 movies or props, I would say that are things that are meaningful to me. This is another one. This is Edward Scissorhands' hands. Those were signed by Stan Winston before he passed away. He had those on his desk for years. Such a detailed piece and all the time put into it. Kate Beckinsale's complete costume from Underworld, and then this is a full lichen. And then you mentioned earlier when we were discussing the Dark Crystal, this is Labyrinth Goblin. And a sword, Labyrinth sword, or a goblin sword. And then this is a foot off of one of the door guards. American Horror Story, those are a couple of the trophies from the 10 Commandments killer. This was from Hotel, and this one is really cool. We've taken a lot of pictures in that thing. Hannibal Lecter's mask from Red Dragon, that's a big one. Critters is a favorite. This one's really cool because he's still got his mechanics in him, so his eyes blink. And then this Predator, this is got all of his animatronics, his servos are still inside. Men in Black 2, the spiky Bulba puppet that he beats him with, is a complete alien from Aliens vs. Predator. Another Freddy glove, that's a screen matched Freddy glove from Freddy's Dead.
I'm ready.
You ready?